Hello and welcome. On this short video, we're going to work with crypto bubbles and we're going to show you how to set up watch lists so that you can use them to track down which cryptocurrencies are making moves and are poised to really make a move in the short term. So let's get started. Firstly, of course, you have to go to cryptobubbles.net, open that up, and when it opens up, we're going to click over here on the settings button. When you click the settings button, down it will say this watch list. Beside that, to the right, there's this plus sign. Go ahead and click on that. When you click that, what it does, it opens up a watch list, and now you can click on whatever that watch list is, and you can name it. So you can name this short-term watch list. Okay, and once you do that, you go ahead and press enter, and now you have a watch list that you've named, and we're going to use this one. Now you can create as many watch lists as you want from what I'm seeing here. As you notice, I've created several different watch lists that I'm using for different purposes. Some I have not even populated yet because I'm still really trying to get myself entrenched in what we're doing with this crypto bubbles and then how to use it. So we got our watch list. So now we can go ahead and close this out. Click the X here. And now if you click on this icon here, it will show you all the different watch lists that you've created, but also the ones that's been pre-created by Crypto Bubbles when you first install it. Okay, so you click on whatever watch list you want. In this case here, the short-term watch list, if you click on that, it goes blank. There's nothing there. That's because, of course, we want to use this to only put in here the coins that we want to be looking at for short-term trades. So how are we going to figure that out? Let's go back to our top 100. Okay, in the top 100, we had this situation going on. And before that, let's also set up Crypto Bubble so that you can see different time frames other than the standard ones that come preset. So in order to get a 1 minute, a 5 minute, and a 15-minute watch list, so you click on 1 minute, you can see how the coins are doing in 1 minute, so on and so forth. To do that, at the right of this line, this row here, there's a plus. So you click on the plus, that opens up, and that gives you a chance to create something. In this case, I called it 15 minute. All right. So if you called it 15 minutes, or let's just say in this case, let's go 1 minute short term, 1 minute ST, something like that. All right, now we have something called 1 minute ST. That's the name. The question is, what do you want this to look at? What period? These are the periods that you have to choose from. So in this case, we call it 1 minute. So click on 1 minute. Now, another thing is, what do you want the bubble size to be based on? By default, our bubble size is based on the performance. How well is that doing? What is the return on investment in the given time frame? But you don't have to do that. You can actually look and click on rank, and it will show you the rank of those cryptocurrencies in that time frame, or market cap, how much money totally is invested in that. So the bubbles will be based on the size of the coins that have the most money invested in them, or you can look at the 24-hour volume. Now this is an interesting one right here because this is going to show you which coins have the most volume passing through them. So let's go ahead and use this one real quick to set up a 1 minute short term to see how much money is being pumped into these in the short term. And then the bubble content. What do you want to see inside the bubble? Do you want to see the performance, return on investment? Do you want to see the rank? Do you want to see the market cap? Do you want to see the 24-hour volume? If we click on that, you can see it'll show you quickly the 24-hour volume. But we know which is having the most volume by the size. So you don't have to actually show the size and the amount, but you can if you want to. But you can also base on price. What is the price that these coins are going for? What is the rank that these are going on? What is the name of it? Okay. And then what is its dominance? Okay. So these are all the things you can base on what's going to show up inside the bubble when the bubble appears. Okay. And so the color then becomes, what color do you want? Do you want the color based on the performance? Do you want the color based on the rank? Or you just want it neutral? Let's see. If you click on rank, then it's going to be colorized based on rank. And right now that looks all gray. Or neutral, same thing. So we're not seeing much benefit in these two things right here, the bubble color, yet until we actually change the time frames and things like that. But we go back to performance. That'll let you know how, what we'll be able to see coins that are going up or coins that are going down or coins that are flat. When they're flat, they're not going up or down really, then we'll see them stay gray because, and basically if you look at our list right here so far, the ones that are basically gray are your stable coins. By design, they don't really go up and down that much, but other coins could be in this flat range for a while, for the minute as well. So that's what we have. So you got a 1 minute view based on the 24-hour volume. The bubble size will show you the volume. And then inside we can have, price. You don't need to have that. And if you see, these are all your basic, your stable coins for $1 each. So they're your stable coins. That's why they basically stay kind of flat. Then these are not investment coins really because they don't really move that much. Okay, so that is what you have that to do now. You can go ahead and create another. Once you click X, now you have this 1 minute based on that. I have a 1 minute that is based on performance. And that's by default. So you can look at that, and that's going to give you one view. And in the 1 minute, you have this right here, which is going to give you a different view. Okay, so you can begin to see now how we can start zeroing in on things based on criteria that we're setting and using. Okay, so that's what we have there. All right, so now we have this, and you can once again use this same approach to create, for example, if you don't have a 1 minute, just let you show my 1 minute, my regular 1 minute, I have it based on 1 minute performance. So the size of the button is based on performance. The bubble's content is its return on investment, is performance. And then the bubble color is based on the performance. So that's what we're standardly looking at. So we get to see the size. It's going to show me the coins that are making the most money or losing the most based on the size. And inside of that coin, you can see the value of the return on investment. And when you see what just happened, every time the minute changes, the calculation changes and the bubbles change. For the last minute, they look the way they were currently looking. Now for this minute, the minute that just closed out, this is the kind of return on investment. So you get to see real time what coins are moving up, what coins are moving down. We're going to look at that in a moment. Okay, so that's how you can set that up, and you can basically set up to have as many of these you want, but just to know that, you run out of space. I don't know what happens when you run all the way out of space on the line here, but that's okay. And if for whatever reason you want to edit any of these, you know what to do. You click on edit the chart. Take in 1 minute, you can change that if you wanted your bubbles to be changed by something. And notice when you do that, it's the name of the button changes to show you what you got going on. All right, market cap in 1 minute, 24-hour volume, 1 minute. But when you go back to performance, it just basically says that. So if nothing else is written in there, it's based on performance. Okay, so that's that. You can do that. All right, so now we're going to start figuring out how to set up our watch list to only look at those coins that are making money. And if you're sitting here actively trading on the day and you want to see whether you can get 5%, 10%, whatever on the day, this is what we're going to do. So let's take a look. We have our 1 minute short term, and we have all these other time frames here. So the first thing we want to do is we can look at our 1 minute first, where we are. You know, the minute changes. So these will be changing periodically in the minute as the price go up and down. You know, if you look at any of the charts, it'll show you. These are the charts based on the minutes. Okay, and as it goes up, for example, this particular chart, a coin, it went down in that minute, and that's why it went from being up to being down. So each dot here is 1 minute at a time. So you can see from 1 minute to the next go up and down, and that is what's causing the color to change. If it's up right now and it goes down next, it'll be red, and it'll show by the percentage of how much it went down. So if you remember on how we determine or calculated the return on investment, you take the amount of change from the last period to the current period, and you divide that by the amount of change from the last period. So if it went from down to up, you start with the down, and that means it's green. But if it went from up to down, the bottom of your fraction will still be wherever you start from. So from the previous current period to the current period. So the previous period is on the bottom, the denominator of your fraction, and on the numerator or the top of the fraction is the amount of change. If you take that ratio, divide the top by the bottom, it will give you a decimal value representing how much that coin has changed, the return on investment. Multiply that times 100 to turn that decimal into a percentage, and there you have it. So that's how you can look at these coins to see how these values in here are being calculated. From one period to the next, how much did it change divided by the previous period? That tells you the rate of change. Now you can see when what we see just happened, that tells us something is going on, that the whole market, from what we have in these top 100 coins, the whole market is basically in this minute is moving up. So that's a sign we want to see. It looks like it's trending. So now we can start finding which coin look like is trending the most. Okay. Specifically, if you see a coin that you know is valuable and it's red, let's say if it was red 5 minutes ago, let's see, how do these coins look 5 minutes ago? Let's focus on Theta. Let's say Theta right now is the big winner here. Just went up 1.8% in that last minute. My goodness, 1.8% in 1 minute. Okay, so if you had that coin, you was holding that coin, you got 1.8%, and you can walk away and say, you know, I'm done for the day. I got more money earned on my 1 minute investment than I will make all year in my bank. Now you see, it just went right back down. So Theta went up and down. So let's take a look at this coin. You see the chart? Look what Theta is doing on the minute scale. Theta came from the seller here and is now rising up really well. Okay, so if we was to look at this in the 5 minute, you'll get to see that this Theta is doing very well. It went from $1.47 at its low, and now it went to a high of $1.71. That is showing us a really good return on investment. So you can see on the day, is 27%. On the hour, 15%. So this is a coin that we could be looking at. Now, the question is, has it already hit its peak? That's what we need to be careful. We need to be careful buying coins at the top of a peak. It might be out of momentum and on its way down from here. So in the short term, we lost opportunity on this one. Okay. Theta just bounced back up. It just hit and just bounced back up. So if we see Theta is making this kind of move, we can say, okay, Theta went down from 0.6 back up to 1.5. So that's a 2.1% swing. Okay. So theta is moving pretty good. So we can quickly see that. So we can take a look and let's put theta in our 1 minute short-term view. So we click on theta, then we click on add, and now we click on which watch list we want to add that to, your short-term watch list. You click that, and now this blue checkbox come up to let you know you now have that added to your 1 minute short-term watch list. All right, you close that out. And what else looks like is moving? I know WorldCoin has been hitting it real hard, even though it just went down, which is a good sign. And Flare. So let's look at Flare. See these big ones like this, Theta just went down 0.9%. Now, if we was to get in now, then we might be able to see a good rise. So let's just say, okay, all right, let's do this. I need to see these coins in their return on investment, but also the price. So let's go ahead and create another one of these. A 1 minute, we'll call this 1 minute price. All right, so there it is, our 1 minute price. It's going to be based on 1 minute. It's going to be based on performance, okay? But in the bubble, we want to put in the price. So we can now look to see the prices of these things also. So you can go from one to the other. All right, so let's see how that looks. In 1 minute, you're looking at these coins here. You can see these big bubbles, USDT, you know, why are we showing that? Well, this thing has I don't know. 1 minute price. Oh, wait a minute. I made a mistake. My 1 minute short term is what I made. I've modified that. So let's edit that. My 1 minute short term was supposed to be based on performance. No, 24-hour volume. Oh, yeah, 24-hour volume, but performance. All right. My 1 minute price, let's click on that and edit that. 1 minute price. Okay, we have our price in there. All right. And performance. All right, so okay, it's good. All right, so now we can look at we go to our 1 minute 1 minute short term. Remember these bubbles here based on rank, 24-hour volume, right? So don't worry, because these coins like this look big. Don't invest in this coin because it's a stable coin. What this means is when people sell their coins, they're putting it into USDT. So USDT is getting a lot of activity. Just like these coins here. People, when they sell their coins and they're still trading on the exchange while they're waiting to see what they're going to buy next, their coins is sitting in cash, which is these stable coin cash accounts. All right, so that's what you're looking at right there with these big coins here. So don't worry yourself too much about that. Okay, so now we want to spot some winners here. So in our 1 minute short term, we see some big bubbles. So let's start looking at these big bubbles. Let's look at WorldCoin. Click on WorldCoin, and we can see WorldCoin is down kind of low based on where it's been in the last. This is the hour over several hours. No, this is actually minute. If you move along this, you can see down here. This right here shows you the actual time, date and time that the price hit that point. So you can see it's moving a minute at a time. The whole chart, if you go to the far right, far left, the time over here is 9:59. And the time over here is 10:58. So that's 1 hour. So right here, you see 1 hour's worth of price movement, 1 minute at a time. So you can see how it's performing over the hour, 1 minute at a time. So when it got to this point right here, the time was 10:36. It hit its highest peak for the hour. And down here, it hit its lowest peak for the hour. So you can take the difference between those two and say, you know, the range over the current past hour was $8.25 minus $8.04. So you're looking at a 21 cent range. Let's just quickly throw a calculator up so you can see what we're talking about. Calculator, remember we're starting, let's say we went from the top to the bottom. So how big was this range? So we started with 825, subtract from that. So our base point, we start here and we end up here. So we end up here, and that's going to give us, subtract 8.04. So we fell down 21 cents. So you divide this 21 cents by your starting point, $8.25. So divide that by 8.25, and in the hour, it had a range of 2.5% return on investment. Okay. So basically what they're showing us is that, look, it's basically a 0.3% on the hour. But you round that off, that's what you get. All right. If you multiply this times 100, see what actual percentage that is. That's 2.5%. 2.5% fall from the highest to the lowest, from what we saw, the highest to lowest. Now, why is this number not showing that? It's because they're taking the beginning of the hour and the current price. You see, that's what they're doing. They're saying the beginning of the hour, 8:13, minus the current price over here of 8:11, had a drop of 0.02, and divide that by 8.13. And that's giving you your 0.002 something, which is constantly changing. So you can see we just moved off the chart. So this is constantly changing because at every minute you're looking at an hour chart now, 1 minute advance. So the bottom part here drops off and the new minute shows up. And so you take the difference between this and the difference between that and that 5 cents. Let's say 5 cents divided by 816 equals 0.006, and that's what you get right there. You multiply this times 100 to see what percentage it is. That's where you get your 0.6%, what they're showing right now. So you can see how that's being calculated. All right. So let's get back, let's find some coins to consider. BNB coin, Binance coin is up 0.01% return on investment, but it's got a lot of rank, a lot of 24-hour volume flowing through there. So why are we looking at that? We're looking at that because if you're going to sell short-term trading, you want to make sure there's enough activity, enough money passing through that coin, which increases your chance that you'll be able to cash the coin out at the price that you want. So the smaller the volume, the more difficult it will be to find a buyer or a seller when you're ready to get out. So we want to make sure we're in a market, there's a lot of activity going through there, which increases our chance to get to cash in and when we're getting that coin to the value that we want to say, that's my target, I want to take it out at that price. So that's why we're looking at the bigger bubbles to help us to decide, does this big bubble show something that makes me want to invest in it? So right now we can see BNB. Let's put BNB in our short-term watch list. Okay. Let's also put XRP in our watch. There's a lot of money going through XRP, but they're not really, right now they're not really popping off. But we'll put XRP in our 1 minute short-term watch list. Okay. Anything else? What looks like we have this Dogecoin. There's a lot of money passing through there. They're up on the minute because we're still looking at the 1 minute, right? So Dogecoin is up on the minute. So let's put some Dogecoin in there. Click on that and add that to our short-term watch list. Anything else? Certainly you can put Bitcoin in there. Bitcoin is 0.01%. You know, what we put WorldCoin in there. What else you want? AVAX. Zero point 0.1. These things are 0.1 and 0.2. Blur has been doing something pretty lately. Let's put some blur in there. So we're going to add that to our short-term watch list. Mantle, let's put Mantle. It's supposed to be doing something along the line here. Now, a lot of these coins you see, they're about the same amount. You see, so if we wanted to see just the basic 1 minute here, the coins that is making the biggest in return on investment, let's go to this view. And now we can start finding out what coins are making the money, but not necessarily have that as much volume going through, but at least blur. Let's put blur in. We already have that in our short-term watch list. Okay, blur. Uniswap is another big one that's supposed to be making some movements in the market. You can see they're up on every time frame we're seeing here. So let's add that. Let's add that to our short-term watch list. What else? What's our bigger moves here? Now we can go down here to avoid trying to figure out we can go down into this view. I'm just scrolling down and I can get to see this. And now I can click on the hour and have it arranged by the largest return on investment in the hour. And I can start selecting these this way. I can click on the plus sign. Let's say Theta Network. I can click plus, add that to my short-term watch list. Is already there. Okay. What's next? We can add stacks. So this is a faster way of doing it if you're just trying to get the big winners. Now remember, the big winners mean they might be already at their peak. So I want you to realize that. Okay. These are the short-term watch lists. You put that in there. All right. Render, did we put that in there already? There's no I by there, so we put a render on there. Short-term watch list, we're adding it. All right, we got render. And note, I'm just clicking outside the box to make that box go away. Internet computer, add that, short-term watch list. All right, so let's just say we're satisfied with that, and now we want to just start figuring out which coins do we want to buy. So now we can go to our short-term watch list. To do that, you click on this button right here and you click on your short-term watch list, and then it will only show you the coins that you added to your short-term watch list. So if you said these are the coins that you want to be investing in today, let's say, now we can say what we're going to do. Now I look at the theta because it's the one that is doing the worst so far, but we picked it because it was doing something. It just might mean that it's down momentarily, which would tell me this is a coin that's I might be more willing to get into. But when I look at its chart, I see this right here, which concerns me, and it's really moving down. So I would say, let this go down some more. Let's see. Let's keep an eye on this. And that's why we're looking at in the 1 minute. Right now, it's down 0.3%. Let's see what's going to happen in the next minute. Is it going down further, or is it going to start popping up? Because right now, there's not much, not a whole lot. Let's see. We're looking at 167. We're looking at 5 cents. It can go back up to the top. If we went up 5 cents, how much would that be based on this? Let's see. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. You take 5 cents, divide that by the current price of $1.67. So it goes from 167 back up to the 172. That means we will be looking at times 100. We could get about 3% on this if this thing just pops up 5 cents, and we know it's been there about 10 minutes ago. So you can see it just went up by zero point 0.2. So that is a move that we can get in. So let's say we're going to get in on this. So let's look at our 1 minute price. Now our 1 minute price allows us to look at our watch list, but now we can see the prices on these. So at $1.67 right now, at $1.67, let's say we get in on this for $1.67, and when it gets to $1.72, we'll take our profit and pull out a 3% quick return. Let's see how fast it could do that. We don't know, but that's what we'll be looking at. So now we can say, all right, I got $100 to work with. Let's just put $100. How would we do that? See, it's going up now. So at 167, we put in our $100, put our $100 in theta, and just let it give us 3% on our $100 and say this is the one. Now, another thing we're looking at now, we got some other coins that just went down on the minute. So these would also be on the play. So let's look at Blur. Blur just went down. It was at a peak and it just fell off that peak. So that's something. That's how much further down in the minute will it do that? And Blur is not looking so great on the day or the week. So this is a dog that potentially is set to rise up because on the whole week is down 1.8. So it might be set to go higher. All right. So we're looking at this. We don't want to buy at the peak, of course, because if it can't break this peak, then there's no profit to be made. We want to buy low and let it rise up to the peak if we can. So like right now, we can see in the last minute, things are going down. So in this last minute, things are going down. And so our whole portfolio was down. This turned red. So in the 1 minute time frame, even over here, the whole market looks like it took a little hit down. And so, all right, but we'll watch that. Doge is down. These Uniswap is down. Blur is down. So now we can basically start looking at how far down where these go. Now, the reason why we don't want too many of these coins, because if you're taking note of this, you'll take a snapshot of this screen right here. So let's say this is our snapshot. I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot of this right here and say I want a snapshot. This is what I'm looking at right now. I don't need about that. This is what I'm looking at. Boom. So now I have that as a snapshot that I can use to start comparing. So here's my snapshot. I just took a screenshot of it. So now I can see all of my coins that I'm watching, and I can see where they are right now. The price, the hourly performance. And now I can sit here for maybe a 5-minute time frame. And you would do this like in the morning, in the beginning of your trading session. When you sit down to start trading, you would do what I just did. You already have your stuff set up. So now you take a snapshot of this because the price on the minute is going to be going up and down, up and down. So you can take that. Now, another thing we could have done, we could have, let's see, we'll minimize this. We could have taken this and tried to get as much of what we can get in there. All right, so we would to minimize our, I'm just making things real. I was seeing where I can get a full screen that has pictures of my bubbles. All right, I can take pictures of my bubbles. So we can do that. We can take a screenshot, Shift, Window, S, and then I can take a look at this, just highlight this. Now that's the screenshot that I had. Now, if I want to use this for something, I have to save it somewhere so I can be pulling it up. So let's save this. Let's save this thing and we'll just call it Morning View. Morning Bubbles. Morning Bubbles. We'll save that. And let's crypto stuff. Let's go into our crypto stuff folder and save that picture there. Morning bubbles. So in the morning, I'll create something I call morning bubbles. And now I'm looking at it, and that's what I get to see. So I can lock that picture in. So I'll save that there. And then I'll go over here and take another picture take a picture of these. Shift swap, Window S. Then I highlight what I want to look at here. We're gonna save this here. We're gonna save this and call this one. Save it. We're gonna go to crypto stuff folder. We're gonna call this morning stats. Okay. So now we have this. Now what I can do now is I can close this out. I can open up my I can open up, let me see, crypto stuff. I can open up this plus this. Enter. And now I have both of these open. So I'll take this one and change the size of this. So it looks like this. I can take the other one. Where is the other one? My pictures over here. Morning bubbles. I have two of these open up, I thought. We can open up the other one. So morning bubbles, now morning stats. We'll open that up. So now we have both of our little pictures open. These are snapshots. So I can have these things sitting open somewhere on the side. So I can make this bigger. You want to be able to zoom in. So now I can always compare where things was looking when I first sat here in the market. These are what my bubbles look like, you know. These what theta was losing at that moment, and $1.67. Theta, you know, I had $1.66 when I actually made this picture. So $1.66, these are the prices I'm looking at. So now I can go and look over here on my regular chart where things are actually moving. And from any moment now, I can do another snapshot. Now, STX is down. Its price is 2.8. So if I look at my 1 minute like this, STX is small. 1 minute price. So this is ROI. So ROI is this, and price shows that. So, you know, these bubbles are going to change based on what you're looking at. So don't get confused. Don't get confused why the bubbles change size. We already told you when we created these bubbles what they were based on. This 1 minute price was based on performance, but the bubble size was based on performance, and inside was price. But over here on the other list, this one here, we said that the bubble size was based on the 24-hour volume. So that's what we're looking at, 24-hour volume. Let's just change this. Let's change this 1 minute as short term. Let's change that to 24-hour volume so we make it easier. Okay? All right. So now it's 24-hour volume, so you know what that is. And this is 1 minute price. So based on volume, based on price, this is performance. Bubble size is based on performance. So we can change this, but that's going to show us price performance. Performance, price. So now we know. So make it so it's easier to work with. 1 minute, 24-hour volume, 1 minute performance showing the price. All right, so the performance showing the price, see it goes up and down. We're looking at a minute. Now, if the minute is too fast for you, you can go ahead and change it to the 5 minute. It doesn't matter. What are you looking at? This is what you're looking at. We're only looking at these coins here. If you want to go back and look at the rest of the market, you can click on here and change what you want to look at. So you can select any of these. This will tell you what the screen is going to show you, what coins, whatever's going to show you. You can go back to the top 100. Boom. There you go. You know, go back out and look at your short-term watch list. Boom. There you go. All right. So that is how we set this up and determine what coins we want to trade. So at any given point now, we're looking at these coins and we want to go and compare what's going on now, because we're looking for coins that's going to fall the most. It's going to fall the most, which shows us if it goes back to par. In this case, if we got into this coin right now and the coin chart shows that it has potential to rise back up, then we can go ahead and say, great, at least we're not going to buy at the peak. We don't want to buy at the peak. We don't want to do that unless you're buying it right now because you have a 1 month viewpoint that you believe is going to be way up higher than that. So you're willing to buy at the point right now simply because you want to get in right now because it might go from one peak immediately back to a higher peak. So if that's what you're thinking is going to happen, then you would buy at the peak. Otherwise, you absolutely never buy at the peak, because when it hits a peak, it goes down before it goes back up, unless it is still rising. Right now, it could be at a peak, but still rising. The next minute it can go higher. So when we determine that the peak has stopped, you definitely don't want to get in there at that point. Okay, so let's recap to put this to a close. On recap, we showed you how to set up the different views that you want to have. We showed you how to use the settings to create the different watch lists that you want. If you want to look at something other than the standard, you can create your own list and set the criteria that you want to use to add bubbles to those lists. And when you click on those lists, you're only looking at those lists. If I look at my watch list 3, I have other coins in there. All right. And so that's another list. So that each of these lists will look at whatever coins you want to look at. 24-hour volume leaders. You know, at one point, that's what they were. So for this one, I will be updating. If I'm using this, I would update this for the 24-hour volume. We go through the first top 100 coins, and whatever ones has the most volume, I would put them in the top 10 and put them in so that I'm trading those coins. So based on what I'm using to trade, that's what I can set my watch list up to do. Okay. And then we also showed you how to change the minute or the time frame that you're looking at. So you're looking at the time frame. One minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, hour. Now, it doesn't matter. I'm looking only at these coins, but if you want to look at the market, of course, you got to go and pull up a different list. But right now, I'm looking at this particular watch list that I'm looking at, the 24-hour volume leaders, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, this right here is the one that's making the move right now. So I might click on this and look to see. There's a peak right there, and we're below that peak. So it looks like we have potential to rise. And now that it is rising, this might be a coin to put some money in. When you take your calculation and see if it goes from this point to this point, what is your return on investment? Then you can go ahead and, if that meets your objective, you can do that. And how did we find that? Once again, by way of summary, if we look where we are currently, 1447, and where we were, it was 10 cents. So it went from, if it goes from 1447 back up to 1457, you take your 10 cents, divide that by your 1447, multiply this times 100, And this would be what return on investment you will get. 0.69%. This is a percent now. Okay, because when you multiply it times 100, it changes the decimal value into a percentage value. And whatever number you get, you read this now as percent. So 0.69%. So it goes, but it went down a little bit further. You see, it went down to 1442, which means now we're looking at, if it rises back up to the top here, 42 to 57, you're looking at a 15-cent rise. So you can take 0.15, divide that by your current price of 1442. Multiply that times 100. Now, if it goes from where it is right now up to this peak, you're looking at a 1.04% return on your money. How fast will it do that? We don't know, but certainly this is what you're looking at. You're good because you're getting in below the point, below the last peak, which means it at least is going to go up to this peak before it falls back down. And while if it's on a rise, it looks like it's on a rise, and so that's what we're looking at. It looks like we have a potential of now going up against above this and rising all the way back up to that. So if you wanted to sit here and watch the tape long enough, we can look and see, will we be able to get our 1%? If 1% is good enough for you, certainly it's better than what the bank is doing for you. And if you can do that, how long would it take for you to do that, to cash out and get 1% on your money? Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So we learned how to do that. So we've learned how to set up our list, set up our what time frame we're looking at, and then we learned how to identify, based on the list that we're using, which are the coins that we want to be buying. And then we, through a calculator, that told you how to determine from where it is to where you see it might go, from where it is currently now to where you think it might go, one of these peaks up here. What kind of return on investment are you looking at? Now remember, this is your minimum return on investment. This would be your target price. If you got in here on this coin, your target price would be that highest peak. Now, certainly, once it hit that highest peak, it can blow past that peak. But your minimum target would be that peak right there. And you're below that peak, so you have a better chance of making money versus losing money, because we don't buy at the highest peak. Okay, so you're looking at this chart for this time frame here, the highest peak. Now, this is an hour time frame. If you want to see that, what's the highest peak on the day, you can see 777. That's the highest peak on this daily time frame. If you want to see the week, 82 cents. So if you're saying, okay, my target then would be the weekly high, then you can do that. You can, because we're below that peak. You see what happened if you bought at this peak when it got here? What happened? It fell down. That's why we don't buy at the highest peaks. It fell down. So now we know we're below this highest peak, and it looked like it's starting to move up again. Well, this peak, this plateau, this peak, and that peak are target points that you can use based on what kind of percentage you're trying to get. And once again, you can figure out if it goes from where it is here to this peak here, or goes to this here, or you can figure out how much that would be for as a return on investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I want to show you now. I know it's got kind of long, but when we're learning these things and you're new at doing this, you have to get this kind of detail so you can begin to look at this tape over and over and start doing it yourself, so you get the handle of how to go about looking at the market, making sense of what it's doing, and then position yourself to get in that market and expect to receive a return on investment. Okay, so that's it for now, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.